What's the word?
If I quit your realm, I still rock Mercedes home. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
The UT Martin men's basketball team going to be home this week on Wednesday when they face North Alabama. They've got Chicago State on Saturday and just went up against one of the nation's best in Eastern Kentucky, also a very talented Prairie View A&M team on Sunday. Coach Ryan Ritter joins us now. Coach, 1-1 in the EKU Classic, a very good win against EKU, and a great test, though, that Prairie View A&M presented you all. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great learning experience for our guys this weekend. Obviously, having a chance to play Eastern Kentucky, one of the top 20 mid-major teams in the country, found a way to win that one, in front of a 2,500, 3,000, people at their game. It was a great environment, and then finding a way Sunday, we'd like to play a little better and close that thing out with a sweep. But honestly, it's I thought what I told our guys is we saw the ceiling of where we can go, but we also saw the floor of where we are, and we've got a lot of growth to be that team every day that we were on Friday night.
And want to talk about the crowd there at EKU. When you face the Colonels, I mean, Alex and I were watching on ESPN Plus heading down to Birmingham. That was a loud group. And how does that help you whenever you face a home court environment like that early on in the season? And how good of a test was it for your guys to handle something like that?
Well, I think we've been talking to our guys. We're looking for adversity. We want to find who we are when adversity hits, and give Eastern Kentucky credit, man. They've led the league, and I believe they've led the ASUN in attendance the last 2 years. And it was fun for our guys. We were able to keep keep the crowd pretty quiet for the most part. They made a pretty good run in the second half, and it's definitely a factor. Just like us at the Elam Center, when we get that thing rocking, it provides a spark for us.
Yeah, I thought you were controlling the game, and then at the end they did rally, and I thought, okay, now we're going to see what we're made of. And you're on the road in a hostile environment, and my goodness, your guys stepped up.
Well, I thought that was the encouraging part. Obviously we played well. You got to play well on the road to beat a team like that. But, last 4 minutes we held them to 1 of 7 from the field. And you saw Jordan Sears and Issa Muhammad make big plays down the stretch. And that's really the first time we've been tested late. And it was good to see, our guys step up to the challenge. And, hopefully we can take that and continue that momentum.
Your lead to that answer was what you did on defense, not on offense. Although you scored points, which you had to win, but you had to stop them defensively.
Well, I think that's probably the disappointing part Sunday is we've had 5 games now, and in 4 of the 5 games we've been very good defensively. Obviously didn't get it done against Mississippi State, but this team has a chance to be very, very good defensively. And, started EKU. We had a heck of a scouting report and did a really nice job for the full 40 minutes.
And Jordan, a great player that we know. Issa is emerging as really one of the most talented players on your team as well. But I want to bring up Jacob Cruz. I mean, what a game, what a weekend he had. A double-double there against Prairie View A&M, and then just lit up from beyond the arc against EKU. Kind of cooled down a little bit in the second half, but to have a 6'9", 6'8" guy that can be your guard and forward, I mean, what are you liking from him here early on?
Well, I think everyone, points to the shots he makes, right? That's what the normal spectator will watch. But if you really watch Jacob Cruz, he's the epitome of winning basketball. He gets extra opportunities via offensive rebound. He always knows his defensive assignment. Like, he has a high IQ. He competes. He never quits. He goes and plays basketball to win. And so, obviously, we like the fact that he can make shots and score the ball. But it's so much more than that he's able to bring to our team.
And what I see is this motor he's got on him. Mm-hmm. Like, even though he might get 20 rebounds, he goes after 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's every time. It's not a sometimes thing. When that shot goes up, he thinks it's his ball, and he chases it down. And, I think our guys feed off it. I think they know he's there to win basketball games, and no doubt it's been a great addition.
Is this
the
player you recruited, or has he even surpassed what you thought he was capable of?
I mean, we had high expectations. We knew he could score it at this level, but I think the ability to offensive rebound and I've said it a lot. It sounds simple, but he's a winner. He knows what goes into winning. When we lose, he knows why we lost. He knows how to try to get it fixed. And during the course of the game, he's got a major impact of helping put more points up for us than them.
Yeah. And we'll take a break. When we come back, Coach Ritter will still be on with us as we preview North Alabama and Chicago State this week. Keep it right here on the Skyhawk Sports Network. Oh, Alex, hello. It's good to hear Alex again. I think the last time I heard Alex was, might have been men's basketball. I think the Tennessee Tech game. So that's good, Alex. One of the best. I've been raving about you, Alex. Yeah, I've been raving about you to Chris, Alex.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you
You're the
into a
best.
professional gig here soon, producing.
Where'd y'all stay, Coach? Were you all over there by the Steak and Shake?
Yeah, pretty close to there.
Yeah.
Town Place Suites.
Yeah.
That's nice. Richmond's pretty cool.
Yeah, Richmond's grown a ton. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was born in Lexington, and then I grew up 15 minutes from there.
I didn't realize you were born. So where did you grow up?
Well, I mean, I lived in Berea for my
Okay.
first 5
yeah.
years.
Have you been on that campus very much, the Berea?
Yeah, I went on it again
That's
yesterday.
amazing.
It's awesome. My mom and dad went there.
Oh, really? So are they arts people too? I mean,
No.
Berea's an art school. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
because they make their own. They make all this stuff. Yeah.
Well, so like, you know, to go to Berea, your family can't make a certain amount of money,
yes.
and so they just work their way through. So mom and
Okay.
dad went there, and then they went to EKU for the
That's
masters.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an Italian restaurant in Berea that's phenomenal, and I can't remember what the name of it is.
Papolino's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow. So when we would stay in Richmond, we would always eat there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. But no, the Berea, I guess, system is just amazing to me. So I've toured that campus a couple times because I can
Dude,
believe what they're doing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Or their model, I guess that's the word.
Copy that. Back on the Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast, Davis Gregory, you're still with us. Head coach Ryan Rowe, the UT Martin men's basketball team. To my left, Chris Brinkley. Here in the Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. As we take a look at this week, North Alabama and Chicago State up this week, Coach. Two, again, very good non-conference opponents. And a plus, you get a North Alabama team right now, 3-1, coming off Jacksonville State, that is going to come to your place. And a great opportunity for you all on Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for North Alabama. Coach Tony Pujols has done a tremendous job there. They're off to a great start, 3-1. They're very similar to us. You know, they're tough. They guard. They've got really good guard play, and you know, they're picked to be in that top 4 of the A-Sun. So you know, it's another mid-major opponent that we're happy to welcome to our spot, and got to find a way to play really well Wednesday.
And then Chicago State, they gave you all a really good fight last year. Also gave Murray State a good fight as well. Hey, Saturday, going to the Windy City, to Chicago. I'm sure that's going to be a fun trip. But as you all look into that non-conference game, what do they kind of present for your team?
Well, I think the thing about Chicago State is they're really difficult to beat in their building. If you look last year, you know, they had their most Division I wins at home in school history. You know, it's a little outside of Chicago, so, you know, it's a tough place to play. I played there coached there about 10 years ago, and you know, our team was a little better, but it was a ball game right to the wire, and those dudes play hard, and it's a tough environment to go up there and win.
Another week, another non-conference week, as well as you are building up before the conference schedule coming up in late December. What are some things you're looking for your team to achieve this week?
Well, I think we've got to settle into a rotation a little bit. We're playing, you know, probably a little too many guys right now, but, you know, in the non-conference it's about trying to figure out who you want to be come January, February, and March, and you know, it's our job to find those out, push the different buttons, and I think we have a good synopsis from our first 5, but we got to take these next 5 and kind of figure out, man, what's going to work in conference and what's not be afraid to try some different things. And obviously you want to win the non-conference games, but I think it's most important to try to put your guys in position to win, you know, late February, early March.
Coach, Thanksgiving is this week. You came from a basketball family, so you know what traveling on Thanksgiving is like, and probably not even having your dad at the table some games. As a coach, what do you do with the players and when it's a holiday week and maybe they're away from their family for the first time?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, like Thanksgiving, I've probably spent more Thanksgivings away from my family than I have with my family. So that almost just becomes a tradition. But, you know, this year it's actually pretty cool. Jordan Sears' family, they'll come up and them and, you know, all our coaches' wives will put something together at our house, and the team will come over on Thanksgiving and just you know, I'd like to say get a day off, but in reality we play Saturday, so we'll have a little workout Thursday morning, and then you know, enjoy some fellowship and just enjoy each other for Thanksgiving at our house.
I say you're away from family, but in reality, when you're a basketball team and a staff, you are family.
No doubt. I mean, we just got to extend it. We got about 30 of us coming over there, so it's the more the merrier.
Gonna have some
Do you
major
cook?
cooking going on.
I do not cook. I
Oh,
eat.
come on.
We all got roles, right? If you're a point guard, you know, you got your role. My role is to eat the food on Thanksgiving. I'm pretty good.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Back here on the Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast, Madde Shelton, student athlete from Rodeo, joining Chris and I here on the show, a senior from Fayetteville, Tennessee. A really great weekend for your team, Madde. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
So the women's team able to win first place in the Murray State Rodeo up in Murray, Kentucky. So congratulations on that.
Well,
and a
thank you.
very successful weekend. I mean, what did you feel was going right for your team this weekend?
We have our women's team is very strong, and we had some girls that really took advantage of this weekend and it being close to home, and they really showed out for our team. We had several make it back to the short go and the breakaway and the goat tying, and our women's team as a whole, we have been working on a lot of things, and it seemed like this weekend we were able to really get those things fine-tuned and take advantage of it.
No doubt.
And you nearly swept all three phases of barrel racing. It was a barrel racing?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure. I was pretty sure, but just went for it right there and got 100%, so I'll take it. So you nearly swept all three phases of that event. You won an average in the short go and then placed second in the opening round. I mean, what was going right for you this weekend?
I had a very blessed weekend. Coming into this weekend, I was not feeling too confident. Me and my horse had a couple problems with our first barrel, so after the last rodeo, we went back to the basics. I made some adjustments, and come time for this weekend, I kind of had to trust my knowledge, trust my practice, trust my decisions, and trust my horse. And this weekend, it just all the pieces fell together.
Animals sometimes can be a little unpredictable. You talked about that chemistry between you and the horse. When you feel it's off a little bit, what are some of the things you do to get it back on track?
Well, the horse that I have, I've had him for several years, and we go very well together. Normally, if something is wrong, I can kind of pick up on it and tell it, and a lot of times I have to trust my gut feeling on it, know that I know my horse, and know that I know what changes I have worked in the past. Sometimes I'll go back and watch old videos and stuff where things went right and kind of analyze them and make judgment decisions based on that.
I bet it works the same way. If you know something's off with the horse knows something's off with you, if that's the case, right?
I believe so. Mine normally can tell whenever I'm in like a tense mood, and he will do something rather silly, which seems a little crazy, but it tends to
lighten
happen
the mood
that
a
way.
little?
Just to loosen you up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I love it.
How long does it take, though, to build up that chemistry, I guess, trust with your horse and make sure that both of you trust each other when it comes to your events?
It really depends on the horse. There's some horses that I've had in the past that I just click with, and the horse I have now, Chopper, was that type of horse. And then I've had horses that it takes a couple years to click with.
Just like people.
Yes, just like people. They have a mind of their own, and they definitely have their favorite people in a say.
They pick their favorites.
Yes,
That's what it is.
they definitely pick their
favorites.
favorites.
So this rodeo was going up until 1 in the morning one night, correct?
Correct.
How do you prepare for that and going into a late night rodeo and competing up until past midnight?
Well, that's a good question. For me personally, it's take a nap earlier in the day, make sure I'm ready, make sure my horse is ready, and when it gets as late as 1 in this time of year, it's cold, so making sure we're both warmed up and we're both ready and we're prepared to compete without, hopefully, injury if we warm up
correctly. Does it confuse the horse? Because you can't tell them, you got to take a nap because we're going at 1 o'clock.
They have their sleep schedule, too.
I mean, mine personally, he seems here recently to like to nap, so I normally, if we're going to be that late, I will feed him kind of early, so that way he's, already fed and happy, and then he normally is not the happiest if I wake him up to go to a run.
Yeah.
But
no, there's nothing like a good meal and a nap. That's smart.
There you go. And it gets you ready for a 1 a.m. rodeo to get tuned up for. So for you, going back to, I guess, when it all started, when did you feel like you had potential to do rodeo in college?
I have always been around horses since I was very little. I grew up on a family farm and decided one day I wanted to barrel race. My parents have always been very supportive, and I'm so thankful for them. They bought me a little pony, a mean little pony that bucked me off several times, and for some reason I just fell in love with the sport and kind of grew into it. I did all types of barrel races through middle school and high school, and then I'd never really thought about rodeoing in college up until my senior year. Went to a community college and then talked to the coach about rodeoing from Martin, and they took a chance and put me on the team, and I am extremely thankful.
Yeah, and we're thankful you're here. I like to travel. I'm familiar with your area in Fayetteville. You said off the air you're a rock's throw from Shelbyville, which is horse country. If you could take everybody who's listening and watching right now to Fayetteville, what could we do that would be interesting that you could show us in your hometown?
Oh, boy. Well, here recently they just had the host a Christmas Past in town, and that's a big thing for our square. That used to be one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Mainly to go and get this little hot chocolate drink that was at one of the booths and walk around. That would be a really neat thing to do. Also, in town, I just like driving around. It's such a little town, little friendly atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. I just like socializing.
So some people come to Martin, some student athletes, and they're like, oh, it's too small. It's not what
I would like to throw my hand up on that
one.
Yeah,
but you, this was like where you came from.
This is like home. I mean, one thing when I was looking at colleges is I don't like a big college, and that was something kind of intimidating to me. And one of the first things I told my parents whenever we were viewing here was that this is so Fayetteville-like. I was like, it seems like everybody knows everybody, give everybody the wave when you pass them going down the road. I was like, it feels like home, and that was one of the things that I really took into consideration when deciding to come to
So
Martin.
who's got more Dollar Generals now, Martin or Fayetteville?
Oh, that's a close call now. I think Fayetteville's coming. We're kind of even on that.
I mean, it's pretty close. How many do we have here? About two or three?
I think Fayetteville's got 4.
Oh, they got us beat.
I mean, it's close. I
so
might
Fayetteville's
be missing
a big
one.
city. That's what it is.
That's
it's a
right.
Big city.
You're growing now.
Yes.
So this past year, this wrapped up the fall schedule for you all. What happens between now? Because you won't compete again until March. What happens in this downtime?
So in this downtime, personally, for me, we've been so busy. It'll be take a moment to catch your breath. Everybody rest. Personally, I'm giving my horse time off until the new year, letting everybody chill out. And then normally the start of the year, I will probably start back up riding and getting back ready for the season. For a lot of people, we just keep practicing. I mean, rodeo is a lifestyle. It's an everyday type thing. We keep practicing, we keep enjoying it, and we just prepare ourselves for the next season.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
As the Skyhawks fell in 2 tough games over against Central Arkansas and then South Dakota State this past week. A few injuries this weekend, Coach, with Shay and Lexi going down. Any update on them?
Shay was at the neurologist this morning in Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies team neurologist. So we thought we were at a good doctor to go see, and he thinks that she came back from her first one probably a little too quick, so that whenever she sort of gets bumped again, it just kind of pushes her back.
Was this the Eastern Illinois concussion last year? Or even
No,
before
this is the one in the summer.
Okay.
And so what he's saying is that she hasn't had 4 concussions, which is what we've all been thinking. It's that her second one never healed, even though she passed all the protocols that you're supposed to pass, because there's so many hoops you have to jump through. We jumped through all the hoops. She jumped through all the hoops. But he thinks that her body didn't recover enough. And so that's why we're getting this recurring thing.
And that's kind of good news if that's –
Well, she called me and was crying and said it was horrible news from the doctor, and I'd already talked, and I already knew that. And I said, okay, explain to me the horrible news. Well, he's saying da-da-da. I said, wait a minute. Did he say your career's over? Well, no. Did he say that you cannot play this year no matter what? Well, no. Did he say that? And I just kept going, and she was like, and I said, so tell me the bad news, because I thought theoretically she could be ending her career, but that's not the case. I would say it's probably 80% that she's done for the year, and that's right now. She and her family have to make a decision on whether they want to try that. Then when they make that decision, then I got to make a decision whether I'm going to try it. And we talked about that, and because I don't know if I want to put her back out there, because there's too
look,
many
her
variables.
safety and well-being trumps basketball every day.
Absolutely, and the problem is with where we are with her right now, we just don't know how long she needs to sit. And so if we're going to go that route, if you tell me, well, she needs to sit till January 15th or February 1st, well, Chris, you've been around me long enough. No, we're not. No, you just take the season off, and we'll start again next year. So that's Shay, and then Lexi is coming cleared to come back. She's got a deep bone bruise. I don't know when she'll be back though, but she is cleared to start coming back. But then we also got news on Morgan Borgstadt that her MRI came back, and she does have a stress reaction in her foot, which we've been holding her out for some. But the doctors with her are kind of like Shay. They're thinking she may be done for the year.
Wow.
But it's because the stress fracture, you don't know how long it'll take to heal. So if we sit her right now, he said it could be 2 to 3 weeks, but it could be 2 to 3 months. So you don't know. Well, if it's 2 to 3 months, she's going to play 5 games this year. So he said what we want to do is we want to play her now as if she was going to be okay to get through the season. And then when it comes to, I was just talking to Ashley, when it comes to the time where you have to decide whether or not she can play or not, you make a decision then based on the doctor and where she is. And so we'll probably try the next few games with her and see how it goes. But it's probably 50-50 on her that she's out for the year, and Shay's probably 80 to 90% out for the year. So,
and 5 games into this season, Coach, what have you seen from your team so far? I know they're still a very young team, just like last year, but what have you seen from this group as you've started out this season?
Probably the thing that jumps out to me would be that they battle. That we're not pretty on offense. I mean, we're ugly on offense, but that's not their fault. That's my fault. Now, when we get open shots, we don't knock them down. That's their fault. But we don't get that many because our offense is that we don't have them in rhythm. I think that'll change itself and fix itself. But the biggest thing that I see different from the last couple of years is they don't back down. And it's not like we backed down last year or the year before. There's just a different feel out there. And a lot of that is Morgan. A lot of that, unfortunately, is Morgan and Shay.
Yeah.
I think Kinley and Morgan, Shay kind of set the tone for how hard we're going to play. And then that makes Anaya and Lexi. Now, Lexi's been doing that too. And anybody that comes in, Josie, Love, you kind of have to play that hard. So that's probably my biggest takeaway is that we battle and we don't quit, and that is, it just looks different to me.
What is this like with you? You use the words ugly on offense. We just have had poor shooting percentages. I don't think you've had an ugly offensive team since your first year at UT Martin, and we embrace that team just because of what you were being dealt. What's that like for you, the offensive mastermind?
It's frustrating for me because I think I'm smart enough to look ahead and see the pitfalls that are going to hit you up ahead. And I have missed it with this bunch. And so consequently, if this was a cross-country race and we started in L.A., by this time of the year, you ought to be somewhere in Kansas, which there's no way you're going to be in Kansas for 6 days anyway. But we're still in California. And that's because I don't have them. And offense is very fragile because if your team is in rhythm and working well together, they'll make shot A. If they're not working together and it's not comfortable and they get the exact same shot, it doesn't go in as often. And that's where we are right now. We're getting okay shots, but they don't know that they're coming, so they're off guard. They're not in rhythm with each other. They weren't sure who was going to do what, and so it's just a little bit out of sync. And you just do a little bit out of sync, and then you add the fact that they're freshmen and sophomores, and it makes that magnified. If you're seniors and you're out of sync, well, you just make the shot because you've been doing it for 4 years. And then the problem is every team we play is playing juniors and seniors, so we've taken a few blows, but I like the team. I really do. I like where they are. I just don't think I'm doing a good job of, when your offense is struggling, then as a coach you do some things to get them through while they figure it out. Well, A, I'm stinking on the end result, the end offense. That's the rhythm. But B, I'm stinking on Band-Aid getting them through. So I'm frustrated at me for not helping them more when they really need it.
I always defend you, but you're being thrown curveballs because now you got 3 players who could be in the starting lineup who might not be in the starting lineup tomorrow night. So it's hard for you to Band-Aid something that is brand new
To defend myself, I would say it's not a curveball; it's a knuckle curve. I tried to catch one. I tried to catch a guy when I was young who threw knuckleballs, and it was the craziest thing ever. You're right. You're right. So South Dakota State, we're down 3 at the half, but we lose Shea and Lexi for the second half. I mean, you can't compete with the teams that we're playing not at full strength, or at least. You can. You can compete at not at full strength, but you can't change it in the middle of the game.
Right.
You can't lose player. I mean,
and there's no way you can anticipate it.
No, and you can't prepare for that. And whoever is coming in for them can't prepare for that. So yes, we are getting thrown knuckle curves, but I'm frustrated in that has become our norm in the last 3 or 4 years. The way that you've overcome that is experience. Well, we got a problem. We don't have that. So it's a challenge right now, and as long as they keep battling, we're going to be fine. I just am a little worried. They're so young. They're young, so that's a good thing because maybe they're naive and don't know any better. And if I tell them that they're doing okay, they may believe it. Or they're young and they look at the scoreboard too much. I don't know which. Right now they're still battling, and so I hope that they'll keep doing that. And because I'm not going to lie to them. If we stink it up, I'm going to tell them we stunk it up. So I hope that'll keep them continuing to battle.
And North Alabama tomorrow. What are you looking at for this matchup as you all head down to Florence for a night game?
Well, North Alabama plays about – so what would the worst-case scenario be for us? We're heading down to North Alabama. We probably got 6-8 players tops. So the worst-case scenario for you would be what?
They play a lot, and it's up.
They play 12 kids. Yeah. They jack threes, and they run up and down.
There you go.
So
run, gun, and holler.
They run and gun and just jack it. And so as far as the season goes, if there's any one game on our schedule that we probably didn't want right here, in the next 2 games, our next 2 games, both teams just run and jack it. And that's really not what we needed to see at this point. So we'll have to figure out today who we got. And then we've got to go down there and figure out how we're going to play with who we got and see if we can't figure out a way to combat North Alabama. I mean, North Alabama, when they shoot the ball well, they're really, really good. When they don't shoot it well, they're very average. The question is, can we make them shoot it not very well?
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Sports Talk Podcast, the UT Martin football season 2023. It comes to a close as Skyhawks fell to Sanford on Saturday, but finished the season with 8 FCS wins, and apparently that's not good enough to hear your name called yesterday on Selection Sunday. I think we're all, of course, frustrated and upset about that. And, Coach, just your thoughts and emotions right now after the announcement yesterday.
Well, first I want to say I'm very proud of the kids, okay, to win a piece of the conference. To get to 8 wins and do that in 3 consecutive years, I'm very proud of that. And we'll look back down the road, and that's something kind of a legacy for a lot of these players. So I'm proud of that. I also acknowledge that we had an opportunity to beat Gardner-Webb on the road, and very tight game. And there's some plays we'd like to have back in that game and lose it there in the last 13 seconds or whatever it was. So mathematically we had a chance to win the league, like every team did, okay. But as you move forward of 10 automatic bids and 14 at-large bids, that's disappointing. It's disappointing, and I'm sure, you can look at this multiple ways, okay. But I'm looking at it through UT Martin eyes, the head coach here at UT Martin, and one is last year 7 wins and losing those non-conference games and saying, okay, you needed to get to 8 to get in. Okay, well, you got to 8 this year, and there wasn't enough. So obviously, as you go into this, it's pretty much set by conference how many they're going to get in. I don't care what anybody says; it's true. You look at the history of it. And there's going to be 6 out of that Missouri Valley. There's going to be 5 out of that CAA, and there's going to be 4 or 5 out of the Big Sky. So that leaves very few spots, going forward. And us, the AAC and the Southland all got one of the better conferences, and so that's where my frustration kicks in. We partnered with the Big South. We already had an automatic bid. You know, and I guess we needed them to have enough this year, which is frustrating that our conference didn't get settled before we got to this point. So basically, with Gardner-Webb, you know, winning it, and that's only get one, we gave them our bid.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you had a 9 or 10 team league, you know, so you know they partnered with us, and they got that side got the bid. Well, you know, next year I guess we get Western Illinois, and Lindenwood will be eligible, so I guess we're back to 7. You know, so guess what? We don't need you. Okay, you only got 3 teams in your league now that Robert Morris is coming out, and don't get me wrong, Gardner-Webb's got a good team, and Trey Lamb does a good
100%.
job, and all that. But you know, I'm worried about our program and our players and our fans. So that's kind of what the math equals to. I also think it's a deal to where, and it's just human nature, right? You got Eastern Illinois' AD on the committee, and then you got Chattanooga's AD on the committee. And so it's kind of, you know, Chattanooga goes 7-4, loses to North Alabama, who we beat. So regardless, I think they were going to take 3. The committee was out of the Southern Conference, and Western Carolina lost. So therefore, they just took Chattanooga, whose 7 wins were deemed better than our 8, even though their bad loss to North Alabama. Our 2 losses, right, were to Gardner-Webb, who won the league, right, yeah. and to, you know, a 4-4 Southern Conference team in Sanford. So that part's disappointing. So I don't, you know, that you can't. So really, the way it sets up for us is you could argue that, okay, just play your conference schedule, and then play the weakest FCS schedule that you can play. You know, play some non-scholarship. You know, play Moorhead. You know, other programs that are struggling that are FCS. If money wasn't an issue, you know, was it Pine Bluff? Is it Mississippi Valley? You know, play your potential winning, you know, FCS schedule, and you know, get yourself to the 9 wins. If you don't win your league outright, that's kind of what the math sets up to. But regardless, like you said, that's you know, those are different ways to look at it. I do realize that mathematically we had our opportunities, but it is frustration when I don't even know now. Looking at it, I don't care what they say. Even if you do win Saturday,
Right.
You know, do you get in? Well, yeah, you're going to be told, yeah. Okay, but as those spots got figured out, there's still only 1 or 2 spots left at the bottom of it. I'd like to think that you know, that 9 wins would have got you one of those spots, but it's just terrible that our league has to win 9 wins. And there were some things that Alex was bringing to my attention that I don't really worry about during the season. You know, maybe you shouldn't even take a coach's poll. Okay, because obviously that has no bearing on it. Okay,
Right.
As high as we were, all right. You know, strength of schedule. I think one group had us in the top 10. That obviously doesn't play any into it. So once again, no matter what they say, there's still some favoritism that comes into play.
Well, there's an element to it that has nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
No,
That's the part which is
Yeah.
out of your control.
Yeah,
And when you're on the wrong side of that, it hurts.
No, it does.
So you're not just you, but the players, the fans, the program, the community, everybody.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of teams in this country that'd like to be in our players' shoes. 3 conference championships back to back. You have mathematical opportunity to get there, and you may not like the math, but you have opportunity to get there. So, you know, that's really basically my message to the players. I get it. I mean, once I get off this broadcast, right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it anymore until I get in front of my constituents and the commissioner and you voice my opinion, and nobody will really care, and they'll move on. But, you know, my message to the team today was good season. Real proud of you. We didn't play very well Saturday. That's disappointing. You know, we cost us a potential opportunity. You know, but okay, so how do you go win 4 now?
I guess this is historically, when's the last time an OVC team has not been playing after the regular season was over?
I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Because Kurt brought it up. He said it the right way. Yeah, we gave you our bid.
Yeah.
And none of our if we just stayed together, one of us would have had to go, which would have been us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know.
So it hurts the league as a whole, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that one thing is an issue, at least in my eyes, is that there are some teams from that Missouri Valley Football Conference that have some losses that are deemed good losses.
Yeah.
And then they look at our wins and they say, those aren't good wins.
Yeah.
A win's a win,
Yeah.
and a loss is a loss. And that's as simple as that.
Well, you know, you look at, you know, Youngstown State was the one that I saw. You know, they had 7 wins, and one of their wins was to Valpo, I believe their non-scholarship, and then to Robert Morris, who's one of the bottom of our league. Okay, so that's two of their 7 wins. Okay, so their 5 wins are better than our 8 wins. Okay, so no, bottom line is, right, and they're going to say, well, they beat Southern Illinois, who had beaten whoever else, okay, but I think I'm right, too, that the North Dakota AD is also on the committee, and they got in at 7-4. So, like I said, there's a human element that comes into play that,
Is there a way to change the system, or is it set up like?
Well, I guess you could have more spots. I guess you could up it to, to 30 spots or whatever, kind of like the FBS did. Okay, and people are going to fuss. Even FBS, right? You keep looking at it, and there's a path that no SEC team gets in, and some people are going to say there's no way the politics lets that happen because of the resources. But that's the thing about FCS is it's not about the resources. Okay, I mean, nobody's making a lot of money off of this going to the playoffs, and it's costing you money to get in the playoffs. But you just have to swallow it, I guess, is all you can do. But there's nothing that I can be told that there wasn't a very subjective view upon it. Don't tell me it had nothing to do with the leagues. No, don't tell me it had to do with the rankings. No, there was. You're deeming that there's only 3 or 4 spots at the end of it that are left, and then you're making the criteria to where you're still leaning it back to the Missouri Valley CAA Big Sky's way, and Southern Conference by getting in 3. Chattanooga's lost to UNA, like we talked about. Their 7 wins are deemed better than our 8. Okay, so frustrating. But now we start today, moving on to next year.
Regardless, again, of what they think, still, as you said, very successful season for your guys. 8 wins, 3rd straight conference championship. And I guess for you and this team, what did you learn about in year 18 with this program?
There's some things that get solidified to me of things that I believe in that are true. Okay, and you might question yourself sometimes, but you recruit good people, you hire good people. There's a lot of changeover from last year's staff to this year's staff. Okay, this is the 4th quarterback we played with in 4 straight years. So it's about people. It's about culture can carry you a long way. Okay, and then it's about you can do a lot of things with, like I said, with belief and work ethic and stuff. That showed true. And then there's things that you can always do better. What can I do better to have our team ready to go on Saturday? They had spent so much to get that conference win against SEMO, even though you won handedly. Maybe there was a letdown. Maybe I should have practiced less. Maybe I should have went out with just helmets because we looked sluggish on Saturday. There's different things that you question yourself. What could I do to change it? I don't have all the answers, and I think part of our growth and part of our consistency over these years is that I do question those things, and I do make some changes, and we'll never stop that. I don't have all the answers, and you got to be willing to change some things. Well, in order to get some better
even
results.
If you had the answers last year, the answers might be different 2 years from now.
No doubt. Kids are different. The portal now, there's all kind of different things that you're dealing with people, and it's such a fine line. I don't care if you're Alabama or Florida State or Ohio State. There is just dynamics that a lot of things have to go your way to. It's hard to win consistently. It's very hard. You can never take it for granted. There's a year-round work that takes to get to a certain point. You think Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State wouldn't like to have our formula. And those are good coaches and those are good men, but it takes athletic director. It takes all the people in this room, and then it takes coaching staff, then it takes players. All those things go together, but there has to be a plan and it has to be followed. And I'm proud that we're considered one of the more consistent programs in the last 20 years in this league.
And beyond this, there are players from your team 10 years ago, or the 06 team. Those young men have turned into wonderful citizens and contributors and assistant coaches. And the same thing will happen with these players from this team 10 years from now. We'll look back and say, wow,
No, you're right. And there's times you have to remind yourself that. You know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people could care less whether or not we're in the playoffs or who's in the playoffs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And we're right. I mean, there's a lot bigger things in life and way a lot more important things in this world today. But no, I am proud of that. But now I will tell you this though, it's easier when these kids sacrifice and you give them a formula and they have success. Okay, those life lessons that you're teaching along the way, they stick a little bit more, right? Because, you know, maybe what Coach said did make sense, and you kind of you gauge it based on, well, we won a conference championship, so, you know, him saying this about being a husband and a father, right? Maybe that stuck a little bit more, okay? And, you know, same way with not getting the playoffs. Maybe some things, you know, some life lessons will have been learned, and that life's hard, all right? It doesn't always go your way. Okay, you know, opportunities are out there. You have to take advantage of those opportunities. You can't leave, it up to other people to get a promotion or to, you have to work and feed your family. You have to provide them and lead by example and stuff. And so hopefully we'll all learn those lessons and benefit from it.
And going back to this season, was there a moment specifically, maybe early on, maybe later in the season, where you thought, okay, this team has got it, where they had this championship mentality about them, and there's a shot where we can get this three-peat?
You know, Missouri State game was big. There was some lessons learned there, some growth. Eastern Illinois in overtime didn't play great, but fought through. Okay, and then of course you had the Tennessee Tech. Didn't play very well at all, and found one. You know, we're only 3-3 on the road this year. Okay, now one of those losses to Georgia. Okay, so, you know, he gets brought up today. Well, maybe we should do this travel. Maybe this affect. I get all that, but guess what? You're not in the NFL, so you're not on a flight, and it can't get you to the front door, and all your meals aren't, brought to you by a chef, and you don't have them. It's hard to travel. It is. That's why we talk about each week being road warriors of. You're already down 7 points, and the sense of urgency that you have to practice with and play with when you go on the road is different. So, some of those things are excuses of going on the road and being 3-3.
And I guess so. You have seen the guys again after the announcement for selection.
No, I have not.
You haven't.
No.
So I know that you probably haven't thought too much about what you're going to say. But what's just the number one thing you want them to take away from this 2023 season?
Like I said, like I started this, proud of you, very proud of you, proud of the effort that you put in, how you competed, and to get to 8 wins. That's something to be proud of, and hopefully. There's another championship ring to honor that, okay? But there is a lesson, like we said, about, life is hard.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed, okay? How do you bounce back from that, okay? You can't just sit here. It's my job to complain and fight for justice, from an FCS tournament standpoint. Yeah, but, don't get on social media and say things you're going to regret. That aren't, you're eventually going to want a job, and maybe that guy sees that text, or sees that tweet.
I'm going to use your word. All year we've called them resilient.
Yeah.
Well, this is another chance to be resilient.
No, it is. It is. It certainly is. Now, there's another component to it, though, right? Because tomorrow the portal opens up.
Yeah.
Okay, so every team, at FCS level, there's going to be guys that maybe can play at another level. Okay, there's going to be guys that think they can play at another level that are going to be disappointed. I love them, but everybody wants to be wanted, okay, and wants to think great value of themselves, okay. And as an adult, right, I know that if that Notre Dame job comes open, they're not going to hire me, okay. But, that's looking at it from an adult eyes, okay. When you're 21 years old, right, you want to play in that biggest stadium that you can get to. So the danger of it is, guess what? Once you go in that portal, I have to let you go. Yeah. I can't let 20 guys dip their toe in there. Yeah. I've got to go recruit other guys to fill your spot. So at the end of the day, if it's
that's a key point. If someone goes in the portal, you can't wait and assume that they're coming back. You immediately have to be finding someone.
Yeah,
it's a business,
and you can't let, like I said, 20 guys. Go out and say, hey, well, what else is out there? So
will a person really though go in the portal just because we're not playing Saturday?
That's going to be an excuse. Somebody's going to say, well, what I won 3 conference championships here, and can't get in the playoffs. Well, you could have beat We could have beat Gardner Webb and could have got in, okay? Or we could have won that last game, and we'll see, all right? But we didn't, so that's fine if that's your excuse, okay? But sometimes you got to be careful. You get what you asked for. Now you're playing. If there's going to be 6,000 people that go in the portal, there's only 2,000 spots.
Right.
Okay, so you get left out, and you're on full scholarship here. You may end up another FCS program that's not as good as us on less scholarship, okay? Or, had one go to Liberty last year, okay? Well, I just looked it up. He had 10 catches for 200 yards. Well, here he would have had 50 catches.
I don't think friends and family are telling those players that, though, whenever their decision is to go in the portal, because they don't understand all of that, the dynamics of it.
You think if you have success here that you're automatically going, Zach Wallace rushed for over 1,000 yards here last year, okay? He rushed for 500 right now at Arkansas State. And not at Arkansas State. So, you have to live with the decision that you make. I hope, and then what I'll tell them today is, okay, go talk to your parents, go talk to your high school coach, okay, and make sure, because it's not something you can take back, guys. Okay, it's not something you have to live with. These are adult decisions, and you got to live with these decisions. So it's a lot on a young man.
And you have to get someone that is going to be honest with you when you talk to them, and going to say, okay, yes, you can go and play at this next level, or no, let's be mature about this and let's think. I mean, are we really going to play here?
Yeah.
And, I mean, you have a full scholarship here. You have everything that you need. You're going to get a good education. University of Tennessee on your diploma.
Right.
You need to stay there. I mean, you have to find people that are going to be honest and.
Well, everybody's got an uncle that says, oh man, you should be playing at Clemson
for the Steelers.
So. And it's not. Guess what though? There's a player from South Carolina that's going to go to Clemson. That's going to get that spot. So, that's and then you got the example of Colton Dowell. Colton Dowell could have probably gone almost anywhere in the country. Okay, but if he wanted to make it to the NFL, he had to put up some numbers. Okay, so he played the more sure bet. Okay, of hey, if I stay healthy, I'm going to get my 60-plus catches here, at UT Martin, which is going to make me more marketable. Okay, you're not marketable if you're not playing. You're not marketable if you don't have numbers. You're not marketable if you're kind of an in-between guy at, where for us you're an every down player, but someplace else you may, because here's the thing, the kids don't know this. Okay, well, when they go in the portal, those head coaches in other schools call me. Okay, and they'll say, hey, tell me about this receiver. Good kid, good player for us. He goes, well, look, I just need a depth guy. Okay, does he have the attitude? Is he going to be okay with being a depth guy? Okay, because I've already got 2 or 3 front line guys, but my freshmen aren't ready, so I need your guy to be my backup guy. Okay, well, I mean, no, nobody wants to do that. Okay, so, but the kids don't know that.
That's crass, like a reference on a job application. I've never thought about that.
Oh, no, 100%, And
you're calling people just like they're calling you.
Yeah, no, we all, you have to do it now. You have to do it now. And so, but no, that happened a lot last year. Hey, no, he's not going to be our first guy, okay, but for our third one, he'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And, but they don't tell them that when they recruit them, right? That, hey, you're a depth guy. So, like I said, sometimes, you know what? And I transferred. Okay, I share this with my, I went from Mississippi State to Southern Miss. Okay, now mine was more, I was wanting to play and this, that, and the other. Now the bottom line was I really wasn't probably good enough to be an SEC starting quarterback. Okay, and then when I go to Southern Miss, guess what? I end up not starting. Okay,
you played baseball there too.
I ended up going more toward baseball. So I share that story with them to where. Okay, that's the grass isn't always greener. You better know exactly what you're dealing with.
Well, my thing is the grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water and fertilize it.
No, that's good. That's a good way. And my parents and I talking about that because where my parents knew at that point in my career, the more adult decision would be to stay and realize what you're capable of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't your time yet. You wasn't good enough quite yet. Okay, and But you're listening to your child say, but I want this, I need this, I need this. So they give into it instead of saying, no, this is not in your best interest. That's one of the things. And my parents are educators, okay, but your parents, and it's an emotional decision. You think your child has the answers. They don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on, Coach. We're going to wrap up this portion of the podcast on WTM for Davis. I'm Chris Brinkley. Join us next Monday here live from Zaxby's Monday at noon, and we'll continue on our video portion of the podcast with Coach Jason Simpson for a couple more questions. And, again, thanks for listening to our radio portion here on WTM and the Skyhawk Sports Network.
And we're done here on the radio broadcast. We're still carrying things over on the video side of things. And, Coach, just talking about, the transfer pool and everything this season, and, again, not hearing your name called yesterday, but still a great year. What happens for you now? You have Thanksgiving this week, so obviously you get to spend that time with some family, but I know that you'd rather be playing some football on Saturday.
No, this is probably the hardest time of this yearly cycle. All right, these next the next month and a half are probably the most important and the hardest part of the cycle. When you're going from August or even July, okay, until now, it's scripted out, okay? Now, whether you win or lose, okay, but how your days are spent and the time, and you're on a 7-day cycle after you get out of the summer practice and all. Well, now you're dealing with your current players, okay? There's academic things, there's portal things, and then there's filling our current roster spots that are available due to seniors, okay? And so you got basically 3 weeks in December to do that. December 20th is signing day there. But portal guys, okay, they've got all the way until school starts to decide where they want to go because the NIL is not binding, okay? So that's just a constant cycle of you trying to fill all your spots and put a team back together. But yet you don't want to fill all of your spots just with bodies, because there'll be another set of there's still a February signing day of high school kids as well as junior college players that can't be here until the summer. But then there'll be another wave of portal guys that could leave your team or could go on the market at the end of April.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the portal hurting high school kids?
Oh, my goodness. It's terrible for them.
Yeah.
There's not enough spots to go around.
Okay.
There's not enough spots to go around. Especially like give you an example, your mid-majors, your Conference USA, your Sun Belt, right? They've got 30 spots. They may take 25 portal guys from SEC schools that just want to plug in and play. Well, that leaves 5 spots for high school players, or no spots for high school players. So then, therefore, that trickles. So where do they go? There's only so many spots. So they go FCS, they go D2, they go. So everybody's a minor league for everybody. I don't care. I heard, and it affects everybody different ways. I heard Saban say the other day, okay, our good players aren't going to leave. He goes, but our next good players, okay, they're the ones that, okay, they want to play, all right? But then when they go out in the portal and try to get somebody else, you may not want to come there, right, because, unless you can promise them they're going to start, okay, or show them where they're going to start. But they're good players, like you said, aren't going in the portal, so those players go somewhere else. Okay, or maybe the highest bidder at that level, or
It's an instant gratification system.
No,
it's tough, man.
It is.
It's tough.
100%. Well, Coach, I guess we'll have a lighter question before we let you go. Maybe lighten the mood a little bit. Thanksgiving coming up this week.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving plate?
I know, obviously some version of turkey, but I think we're trying to decide whether or not, since we're not playing or practicing, are we going down to Tuscaloosa to see Ty, and have Thanksgiving with him on Thursday after they practice, and then go to the Auburn game, the Iron Bowl on Saturday? Graham says he's not going. He's going to his grandmother's to hunt. So I don't know. I guess we'll know here in a couple of days which direction we're all headed.
Well, everybody's got the ham or turkey take. Some people are saying ham over turkey for Thanksgiving. I think that's a little
turkey, man.
Listen, that's a terrible.
You don't ask an old man that question.
Garbage, man.
That's terrible stuff. See, listen, I got some of that old blood still in me. I go with the turkey. Well, Coach, thanks so much for a great
guys.
season.
Appreciate
and
y'all.
it's going to be another good one coming up.
Well, it seems like forever away, but like I said, the work starts today, and we'll put this team back together and look forward to the 24 season.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.